Support for Outdoor Nevada comes from Land Rover Las Vegas and Jaguar Land Rover Reno, proud to help introduce a new generation of adventurers to the diverse experiences that our state has to offer. Information at lrlv.com or jlrreno.com.
Nevada, a landscape as diverse as it is epic, where wide open nature and wild adventure call to the curious and the brave alike.
Well, first, you gotta look like a pioneer, and I have some pioneer clothes for you. Would you like to go try them on?
Of course.
I get a taste of the pioneer life at the California Trail.
You ever get tired of being out here?
Never. I look forward to this every morning.
The skies are blue, the water's clear, and I'm kayaking on Lake Tahoe.
The males typically fly in or walk in if they're roosting along the edges to the lake right before dawn, and they start doing their mating dance.
I meet some fascinating birds who are looking for love in all the right places.
Man, as soon as we started going up that hill, I looked at you. You had this big smile on your face,
yeah.
And I was figuring I probably
When
do
the
too.
when the stoplights and everything and the city's in the mirror, that's when you know you started the ride.
And I cut through the desert on a Harley. I'm John Byrne. I have a passion for the outdoors.
Today we're in the Valley of Fire.
And I'm on a mission to show you the one-of-a-kind history, science, nature, and adventure you find when you step outside. This is Outdoor Nevada. Starting in the 1840s, nearly 250,000 Americans packed up their entire lives and trekked westward across the country. Some hoped for riches and adventure, others a fresh start for their families. It was the greatest mass migration in the country's history, and it took place along the California Trail.
Today I'm at the California Trail Center in Elko, Nevada. It's a really great interpretive center that tells you all about the history of this area and the California Trail. But we're going to do more than just learn about it. We're going to experience it firsthand.
My friend Alex here is going to show me what life was like for those hardy travelers and what skills it took to survive along the trail.
You look great, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
This whole place is awesome.
Well, thank you. Welcome to my camp.
Is this the way it would have been?
Absolutely.
Inspired by the pioneer's leap of faith, Park Ranger Alex Rose strives to keep these memories alive.
Well, first, you gotta look like a pioneer, and I have some pioneer clothes for you. Would you like to go try them on?
Of course. Where's the dressing room on the old trail?
Well, how about for today's purposes, you use a sage house out in our camp?
I feel like I've just traveled back in time.
All right, let's talk about the California Trail.
Sure.
Where did it start? Where did it go? Who took it and why?
The California Trail started at different points along the Missouri River. They all converged at Fort Kearny. Then you had the trail go through Nebraska, Wyoming, Utah, and then eventually came through Nevada.
The early pioneers caravanned in covered wagons, usually towed by oxen. It was a perilous and costly undertaking.
So these people came for a lot of reasons. Philosophical, maybe a new land.
Yes, most of these people, they were trying to have better lives for themselves and their families. And the story of the California Trail is also very much intertwined with the story of the gold rush. So gold was discovered in 1848 at Sutter's Mill in California. And after the word got out, the gold rush was on.
So how far did they travel in a day?
The immigrants would walk between 15 to 20 miles a day. The terrain was rough. If you're going up a mountain, you're doing good if you're making 6 or 7 miles a day. So it really varied. But the interesting thing is most of the immigrants walked. They didn't ride in the wagons. They walked, and it was actually more comfortable walking because of the jolts of the wagon.
You're talking thousands of miles. I can't imagine walking that far.
It's about 2,000 miles. Yes, quite a journey.
It took pioneers 3 to 6 months to travel 2,000 miles. An elephant symbolizes the hardship of the trip because, like describing the animal to those who don't know, it's hard to put the trail into words.
They came through Nevada during the worst times of the year. It was bad timing because they were coming through in August. They got their start from the Missouri River in the spring, and they just wound up here when it's the driest, the hottest, the least amount of water. So that's what made the pioneer experience so difficult in Nevada.
Was there a lot of mortality along the way?
Yes, there were people that died along the way. About 94% of the immigrants made it to their destinations. So yes, people did die along the trail, but to me, the amazing thing is that most of these people made it.
To find out if I can cut it as a pioneer, I'm gonna have to master a few new skills.
I'm guessing one of the first things they had to do was set up camp and then set up a fire.
Absolutely.
How'd they do it?
Let me show you.
Right on.
All right.
Long before the advent of matches or pocket lighters, pioneers had to create fire using primitive tools. Tinder made from dried juniper brush, flint, a piece of steel, and a small square of material called charcloth.
So I'm gonna make a spark, land on the charcloth. Then I'm gonna create a small fire. I'll take the charcloth, put it in my tinder, then I'll blow this into flame, and then we'll have a fire.
Alex starts by striking the steel against the flint to create a spark. And once that spark lands on the charcloth, he drops in the tinder.
Unbelievable.
Tiny fire.
That
Take
didn't
it,
take
Putting it in
anything.
juniper.
It was the tiniest little spot on that black cloth. You almost didn't see it. You blew on it, and all of a sudden it came alive like an oven, like a stove.
And I'm just gonna blow this into flame.
Alex definitely would have survived the trip, and now it's my turn to try.
What you're doing with this rock is you're carving off a tiny piece of steel that burst into flame. And so you want that sharp edge to hit the soft steel. Okay? There you go, you got it. Okay, carefully pick up the charcloth and put it in your tinder bundle. Wrap it around the tinder. Now get closer to the fire pit and blow it really hard, and as soon as you get a flame, drop it and put the sage on top.
This is definitely harder than it looks, but I finally got it.
All right.
Yeah?
We did it. We did it, Alex.
I'm starting to feel like a real pioneer, a hungry one.
I can show you how to make some pioneer biscuits right now.
Yeah,
We're cooking biscuits in the same way the pioneers did.
Fire.
Try to make this as authentic as possible.
Beautiful.
We start by portioning out 2 cups of flour and then the baking soda.
There are places in Wyoming where immigrants would come across springs that had soda in the water, had a high soda content. So they would just take the water that had the soda in it, and their biscuits would rise with that.
Next comes the baking powder, salt, milk, and butter, which are then mixed together. And lastly, Alex has me roll out and cut the biscuits.
Okay, so what do? We got these great looking biscuits.
Okay,
I'm excited.
we're gonna put them in the Dutch oven.
All we have to do now is put the biscuits in the oven, cover them, and wait.
While the biscuits are cooking, let's go throw some tomahawks.
Jebediah,
Let's go have some fun.
Alex makes this look easy. It takes me a few tries.
And he makes biscuits. Somebody stop me.
I've really worked up an appetite, and I'm hoping those biscuits are ready.
You can celebrate anything with a biscuit.
Let's see what's going on.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Gosh, they smell good. And butter on mine. Well, hey, what do you take away from the California Trail as a whole?
The pioneer experience is something that everyone could learn from. People had to overcome all kinds of obstacles along the trail. And my goal is that when people come here, they can learn about the pioneer experience and how to overcome obstacles in their lives. The pioneer story is a story of inspiration.
See, that's the thing about celebrating outdoor Nevada. Sometimes you just have fun, but sometimes the past comes alive and it makes you better for it. Cheers.
Cheers. Well done.
Well done.
When it comes to outdoor recreation and natural beauty, Lake Tahoe is the real thing. But there's one way to experience this picture-perfect place that beats most others: kayaking.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, John, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Is this a beautiful day or what?
Amazing.
Adventure guide Sean Bunnell has been living in kayaking here in Tahoe for 6 years.
Well, you're the guy they said to talk to, so are we going to head out today?
We're gonna head out.
Let's do it.
Let's
get
do
gacked
it.
up.
Awesome.
We're launching our kayaks from Sand Harbor at Lake Tahoe, Nevada State Park. It's about 3 miles south of Incline Village on the eastern shore of the lake.
First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna need some life jackets and some paddles.
One of the reasons we're putting this on is because the water's cold, right?
So we're still in the early season. So the water temperature is still probably upper 40s, maybe low 50s at this point.
At 50 degrees plus, falling into this cold lake water is something I'd like to avoid.
As far as these boats go, these are all sit-on-top kayaks, so they're very safe. It's essentially just enclosed air,
And they're stable.
and they're incredibly stable.
Fortunately, Sean assures me these boats are made to stay upright.
When we first get on these kayaks, you might feel a little tension with the stability,
Yeah.
but try and keep those hips nice and loose.
So there's a little anxiety involved, but the quicker you relax, the more you trust your guide and the stuff, the better it's going to go.
We do not plan on going in the water
No,
today.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
A quick lesson on how this works, and we're ready to glide out into Sand Harbor's crystal clear waters.
Okay.
If you want to go ahead and put the paddle on the far side there, go ahead and step in. Perfect.
Create that tension.
And I'm going to go ahead and send you out here, and I'll be right behind you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll go right out to those boulders there.
All right, if I hit an iceberg, I'll let you know.
Okay.
We hop into the boats and take off.
It is the physical definition of spectacular. Can you tell me how Lake Tahoe was formed?
So Lake Tahoe was formed through a process of multiple geologic events. And so the first one was through a process of plate tectonics. And so you have the Pacific Plate going to the North American Plate, and that's essentially what created these two mountain ranges we're looking at. So you have the Sierra Nevada range again and the Carson range. And between these two mountain ranges were actually some block faults or some parallel fractures that sunk down between these two mountain ranges during the shifting of the plates. And so that essentially created a very large valley here. And then behind us, you can see all these mountains look fairly different. They're not as high above alpine, they have darker colors, and those are all extinct volcanoes. And so after the period of plate tectonics, we had an era of volcanic activity that essentially created a dam for Lake Tahoe.
So how big is the lake exactly, do you know?
North to south, it's roughly 22 miles. East to west, roughly 12 miles.
Wow.
If you were to drive a car around, it's roughly 70 miles. And as far as the overall depth, it's at 1,645 feet. It's a general estimate.
1,645 feet equals nearly a third of a mile deep. The second deepest lake in the U.S. Only Crater Lake in Oregon is deeper.
What would you compare this experience to?
Kayak on Lake Tahoe on a day like today would be like skiing fresh powder as the sun's coming up with only a few of your good friends around.
To me, it feels almost like being in Alaska.
Yeah.
It's got that raw, clean, beautiful, natural feel.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever get tired of being out here?
Never. I look forward to this every morning.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
This is a place that just keeps on giving the more you keep looking.
It is very true. Very special place indeed.
Well, thanks, man, for taking me out here. This has been just the best day I've ever had.
You are very welcome. I enjoyed it myself as well.
Awesome. Nevada, of course, is a very special state. Lake Tahoe may be the crown jewel of this entire area. Out here on a kayak, you see it in a whole new light, and it's stellar.
The wide open deserts of Nevada and the western United States are filled with sagebrush meadows. These meadows can be deceptive. From a distance, they appear barren, but they mask a thriving habitat. home to one of nature's most fascinating birds, the greater sage grouse.
It's right at sunrise, and we're out here in meadows and meadows of sagebrush. And the reason we are is because there is a lek of sage grouse. Now this is Sherry Lessius, and she is a conservation biologist. She's out here counting them right now. We're going to get to find out more.
Sherry has been involved with conservation efforts for the greater sage grouse for the last 4 years. She works for the Bureau of Land Management in Bishop, California, which for decades has been keeping track of the bird's health and habitat.
How are you? Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you.
So what are you seeing out here this morning?
This morning I'm seeing about 65 males, give or take. As you can imagine, they're pretty spread throughout this whole area, so it's kind of hard to find them all.
This population of sage grouse is known collectively as the bi-state group, as they make their home in California and Nevada. Sherry and others have come to this region, the Bodie Hills of California, to take an important count. The count is part of a coordinated effort by many wildlife and conservation groups. These groups have banded together to help the greater sage grouse population both stabilize and thrive in spite of the many changes occurring to its native habitat.
And I usually have a clicker because there's enough birds that sometimes it's hard to keep track.
This is a long-standing mating area, also known as a lek. It's a large, open, and flat area filled with everything the male sage grouse is looking for, including food and females.
That is just incredible.
The focus is to count the number of males and females, but Sherry also witnesses something quite spectacular: the intense battles between competing males and the mating ritual that makes this bird so memorable and unusual.
They're out there filling their air sacs, which makes that plopping noise that we're hearing. And so they're trying to show the females that they're the ones that the females should mate with. It does seem a bit like a frat party out there. There are a lot of males, and right now I actually didn't see any females. So they're doing that dance no matter if the females are there or not.
The greater sage grouse is native to the western United States. Prior to the settlement of western North America by European immigrants, the bird was found in 13 states and 3 Canadian provinces. Now, it's down to 11 states and 2 provinces. But recent studies, based in part on the accounts that Sherry provides, show the rate of decline has slowed and the population is stabilizing.
It's really a sign that all the efforts are working, and that's a reason to celebrate.
It is. They're working, and we're committed to doing them into the future. You know, we have this long-term commitment, a 10-year commitment, financial commitment to keep doing them. So not only are they working, but we can see that they're going to work in the future.
Recently, the bi-state sage grouse was listed as a non-endangered species. Although the greater sage grouse still faces several threats, even the tree lines expanding into the meadow are putting these birds at risk.
Those trees take a lot of water, and so they're going to take water from plants that the sage grouse want to eat.
Official bird counters will take at least 7 trips to the Bodie Hills site.
So what do you do with the data?
So with the data, this is how we tell how the population is doing. These are called saturation counts, where you do all the leks at once. And they've been doing that since about 1987. And so we have this amazing data set.
The bird counts will help conservation and wildlife agencies move forward with an action plan to preserve and expand the habitat.
And that's a lot of collaboration between groups to get this, to pull this off.
It's an enormous amount of collaboration to pull off this in a landscape that a lot of people think is just a throwaway landscape. And the sage grouse sees a lot of different things that we don't see. They see meadow, they see low sage, they see taller sage, they see some high slopes, they can be out in the winter.
But knowing the sage grouse population has improved enough to prevent special federal protection has given Sherry and her colleagues a huge confidence boost.
I sense enthusiasm and optimism in your voice. You're happy about where things stand.
I've never heard of a species being taken off when they've gotten that far down the line. And I feel like that's really, truly a response to this group coming together.
It's been a pleasure being out here today, and I'm glad that I forged this relationship with you. So thank you so much, and also for everything that you're doing out here. It's satisfying to Sherry to see this all come together and to see this project really bloom and blossom. And on a personal note, it's very satisfying for me to come out here and see the whole thing through her window.
They're American originals, modern horses for the modern cowboy, but with a lot more power and a serious growl. Call them hogs, call them choppers, call them the ultimate open road riding machines. Harley-Davidson motorcycles.
This is an amazing spot to meet for our ride today. Tell me about what I'm looking at here.
Well, you're here at Las Vegas Harley-Davidson, where we have so much to offer here, from our rentals department, motor clothes, you can get a brand new or used motorcycle.
Meet Heather Frank, the Las Vegas Harley-Davidson marketing director.
This place is huge. I mean, how big is this?
It's just under 60,000 square feet.
Step across the street from the famous Welcome to Las Vegas sign, and you'll enter the hallowed halls of a temple dedicated to an American icon. This is Harley's brand new museum / rental shop / dealership / all things hog.
It's got a shop, and I can also rent my bike here.
You absolutely can. We can get you hooked up on one of our Softails today, as a matter of fact.
Why are we standing here talking? Let's go.
Let's go take a look.
Today, we're meeting with a group of Harley enthusiasts to go on a fun run.
We're all safe, experienced motorcycle riders here, but we need to look out for each other and the other cars.
Our destination? The world-famous Mountain Springs Saloon. 24 miles away, it's the perfect spot to spend a sunny Saturday morning in southern Nevada.
We were born to run on outdoor Nevada.
A fun run gathers bikers from all over town for a ride. Sometimes they raise money for a charity, and some other times it's just plain fun. In 1903, William S. Harley and Arthur Davidson built the very first Great American Freedom Machine. In 1920, Harley-Davidson turned into the largest motorcycle manufacturer in the world, and it became a lifestyle. We keep riding along State Route 160, cutting through the desert until we reach our final spot.
Oh man, that was awesome. That was a way to spend a morning.
Beautiful, right?
Oh gosh,
Told you.
That was just so relaxing.
Don't want to stop, huh?
You don't want to stop.
Rob Itter organizes some of these fun runs. A Harley-Davidson enthusiast himself, he's been riding in the valley for over 8 years.
It was funny because when we first took off, we had the same look on our faces, like, okay, let's do this. Man, as soon as we started going up that hill, I looked at you, you had this big smile on your face,
yeah.
And I was figuring I probably
when
knew
the stoplights and everything and the city's in the mirror, that's when you know you started the ride. You gotta get out of the city.
So tell me about this place that we just stopped at. Why are we here? What is this?
It's just a great hangout. Great destination. You're up here in the hills, best weather. When it's hot, come up here, it's cool. We got excellent food, barbecue, cold beers. It just doesn't get much better.
The Mountain Springs Saloon was built in 1953, and it became a popular destination for bikers in the 70s.
So Rob, there's a saying that I've heard people say around here. How's it go? Blood makes
you related, and the road makes you family.
It really does, doesn't it?
It does.
This is a sense of community, and maybe if you haven't ridden a motorcycle on the road and integrated in here, you wouldn't know just how good this feels.
Oh no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't know the camaraderie until you do it.
What if I told you, you know what, Rob, your bike's in the shop, I'm sorry, you're not gonna have it for 6 weeks. What would you do?
No, that don't happen. It don't work that way. The bike's gotta be done and ready to go. 6 weeks is too long.
Now, tell me about your bike, because it stands out from everybody else's.
2010 Street Glide. A little bit of work done to it, exhaust, some body work. Just good running bike.
What about the color, though?
The color is red. It's actually, they came out with that red for fire department in the beginning. They came back out with it in 2010 when I bought that bike.
Firefighters go way back with Harley-Davidson, just like police officers. The first Harley sold to a police department dates back to 1908 in Detroit, Michigan.
It really is about relaxing, having a good time, and seeing parts of Nevada you're just not going to see from your car, isn't it?
Nah, there's nothing like seeing the road from a bike.
By the way, you know, I haven't ridden a lot with clubs. How did I do?
You did great.
Yeah?
Yeah, you did great.
I fit right in.
I'll ride with you anytime.
Get out and ride. It's that simple. You know, the Silver State has so much to explore, and there's so many ways to do it. And renting a motorcycle is definitely on the list. Are you having the burger as well?
I am having a burger.
I promise you I'm buying. Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Getting outdoors, meeting great people, and experiencing total freedom. I think I could get used to the biker lifestyle.